Welcome to the podcast of the Prison Officers Association, Britain's largest professional trade union for staff working in prisons and correctional centres, public and private mental health services trust providers, and immigration services, with nearly 35,000 members. Well, listeners, with me is Mark Fairhurst, the National Chair, and Steve Gillan, the General Secretary, because we're at the start of a very important time of the year with the launch of the POA Members survey. Mark, what's actually happening or about to happen in terms of this survey?
So we launched this survey a few years ago in competition with the HMPPS People Survey. And it's conference policy to encourage our members not to fill in any type of survey from our employer at all. The reason being it always gets used against you. And let me just give you an example. So for years now, the reason people, or one of the main reasons people have been leaving the prison service is because the pay has not been sufficient and doesn't compete with other industries and other public sector organisations. For the last 2 years, evidence from HMPPS to the pay review body has highlighted through the People Survey that pay is no longer a driver why people leave the service. Whereas our survey clearly identifies that one of the main drivers that people leave the service is because they don't feel they're rewarded enough for the risks they face. So when people fill in the HMPPS survey, it gets used against them. Whereas our survey asks the questions that the employer really doesn't want to ask people because they don't want to know the true reality of what people face on the front line.
So therefore, in terms of getting the unvarnished truth, as it were, back to the union for the union to put in front of the employers, the survey's a key vehicle.
Mark's absolutely right about the surveys and why we want to do our own bespoke one. We've tried to take it to the prison service to say, look, in Northern Ireland, they do a bespoke one for operational grades. But the prison service, for some reason, do not want to go down that line. And I think it's because of what Mark's just identified, the spin that they put on it. I mean, I've just seen some of the exit polls once again, and pay comes right down the list as if it doesn't matter. I don't believe that for a second, to be honest with you, because as Mark rightly identifies, when we do our surveys, and that's because conference have told us to do that, because it is being used against us in all areas, then we get told a different story. What we would want to see when it's launched, it doesn't take a lot of time up to go onto the link. It's really important, I can't emphasise this enough, that we need to get organised. Although the survey results are improving with the numbers taking it, we'd still like to see it increased. Now, I know prison officers and related grade OSGs, they get fed up being asked to do surveys and different things. But this is something that we can use in the pay review body against the employer, actually, and combat some of the evidence that they and government put in. So it's vitally important that they follow our circulars when we put them out to the letter and actually go to the links, fill them in. It's really easy to do.
And the information that's given by members in the survey is, I believe, confidential, isn't it? Individual officers in individual establishments are identified, but the general content of the answers form a vital part of the union submissions to the pay review body and to the employer.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital that as many members as possible in public sector prisons in England and Wales fill in this survey. There's 78 questions, which you think, oh, that's a lot. It's quite comprehensive. But the usual questions to start off with about your age, your ethnicity, your gender. The 78 questions are really relevant to your role on the landings. And what you provide us gives us some solid evidence to the pay review body. Now, it launches on the 1st of August and it's open until the end of September. We have to have written submissions into the pay review body by the end of September. By the middle of September, I want to analyse, hopefully, tens of thousands of responses instead of the usual 1,200, 1,500. Let's get thousands of responses in. It takes 20 minutes. You can do it at home on your smartphone or in the pub with your mates. Just get it filled in. And it asks some really pertinent questions that, as I say, the employer doesn't want the answers to. So, for example, it asks you stuff like, do you feel valued at work? What's your morale like? What's your mental health like? How often are you stressed at work? Have you attended work while you felt unwell instead of going sick? What support do you get at work after you've been trained as a prison officer? Is your training fit for purpose? What are your leadership like? It asks you if you trust senior managers in your prison. Imagine the employer asking their staff if they trust senior managers. It's never going to happen, is it? It asks you about your line manager. Do you even know who your line manager is? How sad is this? Lots of my members don't even know who their line manager is because they never have conversations with them. It asks you if you feel safe at work. It asks you about your uniform. Do you want slash-proof clothing? Do you want to carry parva if you don't carry parva? It asks you if you've got enough staff on duty. It asks you, do you think you're unlocking too many prisoners? It asks you if your governor puts prison regime above your safety. It asks you about your pay, your working conditions, and it asks you if you think your retirement age is too high. They are all questions that will never ever get asked by your employer. And this is your opportunity to tell us how bad things are. And we can take that to the pay review body and say, look, don't believe what HMPPS are telling you, because those questions that they ask are lumped in with civil servants who are desk bound in the MOJ and are allowed to work from home. Doesn't matter if they feel a bit unwell, they just switch the laptop off on the sofa and they crack on with the work. My members have to call in sick and lose money. So it asks you some really serious stuff. Get it filled in. It takes 20 minutes and it gives us some solid evidence. Let's fight back. I can only start to fight back on your behalf if you're engaged. So please get it filled in, will you?
And that engagement, Steve, that is absolutely crucial, isn't it, for the union to be as effective as it can be in defending and advancing the interests of members?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is our opportunity to engage with the members or for them to engage with us in order that we get their views and then we can take their views, as Mark has just said, to the pay review body. I want to emphasise, though, this is just for the remit group, our members that come under the pay review body in England and Wales. So it's effectively prison officers and operational support grades in England and Wales, i.e. band 3, 4, 5, the ones that we represent in that remit group. So it is an opportunity for the members to engage with the union. I wish we didn't have to do it. I wish we had a bespoke program that was agreed with the employer that only done operational staff, because quite rightly, Mark has identified the issue that for far too long now, we've been lumped in with other civil servants. And I'm not saying for 1 minute that they don't have the stresses and different things, but it's different from an operational prison officer grade and OSG. We work in what I would say is a unique environment, one where we have angry prisoners. The violence is incredibly rising throughout the last 3 decades. It's got worse. So this is an opportunity for our members to engage with the union. As Mark says, it only takes 20 minutes to fill in. If I was still operational, I know that I would be filling it in 100%, given the union is much information as I can about what they face in work, whether it's good or bad. I mean, there might be some good things that they want to highlight as well. We're open to that. We just want people to tell the truth. Ultimately want the employer to tell the truth instead of saying that pay doesn't matter. Because let's be clear, pay does matter. It pays your bills, it pays your rent, it pays your mortgage, and there's a cost of living crisis out there. So no one will ever convince me, ever, that pay doesn't matter.
Click on the link, fill the form in, takes you 20 minutes, and it makes a real difference. Mark, Steve, thank you both very much indeed. My thanks to Mark and Steve. For details on all POA activities and campaigns, visit poauk.org.uk, where you can also find out how to join the union should you not already be a member. Thanks for listening. We hope you've liked what you've heard and will join us for the next episode of the POA podcast. But please, don't forget to complete the members survey. Thank you and goodbye.